Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR HALACHA. And here's a brand new halacha for you. And it's for Friday, 26th day of November, 22nd day of Kislev, which means we're only a couple days to Chanukah. I want to give you another important Chanukah law. For this one, I want to take you right to the Mishnah Berurah. I'll do that in just a minute. I just want to set up the scenario that he'll be discussing. It happens pretty often. You're a guest in someone's house, and they're lighting the Chanukah menorah. And the question is, can you somehow be hooked on to their mitzvah of Chanukah menorah when you're a guest in their house? So the Mishnah Berurah talks very clearly about how you accomplish that. I'm going to take you right there so you could read it with me. Laseis pruta. See here? It says that the appropriate thing to do would be to give a pruta. That's a small amount of money. And you just give that pruta, that small amount of money, over to the Baal Habayis, the person who's in the owner of the house. And once you give him a couple of pennies, you have bought in to his Chanukah lighting. Let's read it. Hainu she'ein tzarech ha'achsanoi litain kol chatzi hotzos haneros. You know, the guest doesn't have to give half of the expenses. Let's say the whole expense of everything is, the light, the menorah, everything is, let's say, $100. You don't have to give $50. You can just give a couple of pennies. Rakba pruta sagi, just that little amount is enough. To al yedezeh, because through that, makne lo chelek b'shemen. Through that, the owner of the house gives you a portion in the oil. Some of the later commentaries write that the owner of the house should now increase and say, oh, now the Goldstein is my guest and he's given me a couple of pennies extra. I'm going to add this much extra oil. I'm going to give a little more than I would have, normally put in for the requisite half hour. Bishvil Atzmo, for his own self. I'm now adding a couple of pennies of oil because my guest chipped in. That's what some add. You can actually skip this whole business with the coins, and the owner of the house could just say, I'm giving you a portion of the oil. I used to own all the oil. I'm making it that you now are co-owner because I've given you some of the oil in my thing. And that's just as good as if you had joined in with your couple of pennies. And then the Mishnah Berurah ends by saying this: when we come and yet if the guest himself has his own menorah with some light or candles of his own, Nachon Yoser lahadlik be'atzmo. It's still best if the guest lights his own menorah with his own oil or candles or whatever. But everything that we just read up here was if for some reason the guest doesn't have available his own menorah or his own oil or his own candles, then second best choice is everything that we just read here, which is you could pitch in and become kind of like a co-owner in everything that your Balabais, the owner of the house, is letting you chip in towards. And by the way, if you are doing it that way and he's lighting for you, then it is important that you note that, tell him, like, think of me when you say the bracha, you're doing the bracha for me. And the guest also thinks the Balabais, the owner of the home here, is doing the bracha for me. And that way they kind of like transfer the mitzvah. And then the owner of the house can do the mitzvah for you. Hope that all made sense. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow. After Shabbos for more. Bye-bye.